Hi everybody, and welcome back to This Week in Magic Online Finance. I'm your host Chaz Andres, and as always, let's get started with the news. Now, potentially the biggest news of the week is the update to the banned and restricted list that's hitting on Monday morning. Maybe by the time you've already watched this video, it's live, but as of now, when I'm recording the video, it isn't. So maybe Standard has been shaken up massively by an energy banning. So if there was an energy banning, expect a lot of the hottest tribal cards to go even more nuts over the next couple of days as brewers brew and the format opens up, and we don't really know where anything's going to be. If not, well, that just means that the results of next week's Star City Games Open take on a lot more importance in terms of the future price of these tribal cards. That's when we're going to see whether merfolk or dinosaurs or vampires or pirates or something else is actually going to have what it takes to hang with energy. Now, instead of talking about the standard cards that gained or lost the most value this weekend, I want to take a deeper look at Rivals of Ixalan. The set has only been live on MTGO for a couple of days, but we've already started to see a ton of movement, mostly gains. Now, if you've played enough MTGO, you probably already know that sets tend to peak in value a couple of days after release, which makes sense. This is when demand is really high, everyone wants all these new cards, but supply is really low because there's only been a couple of days of drafting. So even though you can sometimes find bargains during this period, it's usually better to sell everything into hype because the index is really high right now. Now, I like Rivals of Ixalan. It's got some powerful stuff, but let's not kid ourselves. Rivals of Ixalan is very expensive right now, and those prices will come down. So if you're looking to buy a Rivals of Ixalan staple, see if you can wait at least a week. Prices will come down from where they're at right now. So which cards from Rivals of Ixalan are being hyped the most right now? Well, Kumena, Tyrant of Erazga, is the most expensive card in the set by a lot at the moment. It's up to 31 tickets after debuting at 12, and it's on its way to being the set's marquee mythic. Now, merfolk do look pretty good in early testing, but I really need to see some results before I'm going to buy in at this price. It's just really hard for any standard card to maintain a price above 30 tickets for long. Now, the second most expensive card in Rivals of Ixalan right now is Rekindling Phoenix, which started around 7 tickets, it's up to 23 right now, and this is a card I love. If you read my StarCityGames.com financial set review, you'll know that Kumena and Rekindling Phoenix are my two favorite mythic rares in the set. I think it's got a good long-term value profile. But I'm still selling this one into the hype. It's just the safer move with a card that's shown absolutely nothing so far. It's just too new. Now, I'm not really too surprised that those two marquee mythic rares gained a bunch of value. But what I am kind of surprised at is that Deeproot Elite has been the set's other major gainer. It started around 1 ticket, which was too low, but it's up to over 11 now. This is a good card, it's been testing well in merfolk, it's probably going to be a 4 in whatever merfolk deck develops, but again, we've yet to see what that deck is capable of, and even if it's the best deck in the format, this is a 1 deck rare. It's not like Deeproot Elite is going to be good in vampires or energy or really anything else that's going to be in Standard's top tier. So at 11 tickets, I'm selling this one into hype immediately. Now, if you look a little bit further down the Rivals of Ixalan price list, you'll start to pick up on some cards that peaked on Saturday and have started to come down in price a little. For example, Jadelight Ranger and Radiant Destiny, both a couple of tickets cheaper now than they were earlier in the weekend. So what should you do with cards like this? I'm still selling into hype. I know Jadelight Ranger looks kind of like a multi-deck staple and it could be really good, but again, in a market like this, I'm fading everything. Let's move on to Modern, where the card that gained the most ground this week was Ruined Halo, jumping 5 tickets from 13.5 up to 18.5. And this spike happened in both Paper Magic and on MTGO. It's a card that's in super low supply, it's from Shadowmoor, and Jeskai Control continues to march its way toward Modern's top tier. So some of you asked me on Twitter whether market manipulation played a significant role in this card's spike, and yeah, it probably did play some role. But here's the thing, demand is very real, supply is very low, so I expect this card to maintain most if not all of its gains until it's reprinted in a future master set, which is quite likely, or the metagame shifts significantly. Let's move on to the biggest loser, where again, there really weren't a ton of losers in Modern this week. The format is still pretty hot. The best I could find was that Kolaghan's Command dropped about 2 tickets from 20 down to 18 this week. and I think this is more random noise than an actual trend. The card has been pretty stable in the 15 to 20 ticket range for a while, and I don't see that changing. Even if Grixis Death Shadow falls off a bit, there's still plenty of solid homes for this card in Modern, and it's not likely to be reprinted anytime soon because it's still from a fairly recent set. So if you're looking to buy in at a bit of a discount, here's a little window open for you. Now, this week's sneak is Trinisphere, a rare from Darksteel that was 2.5 tickets back in October. It's up over 11 tickets and gaining right now. Now, it sees play in Ravager shops in Vintage, as well as green-red land destruction in Modern, and it's that second deck that interests me. I don't know what the future of that deck is, but if it continues to see play, the card is in such low supply, it could actually double in price from where it's at right now. And based on the price trend, it seems to be gaining in value regardless. Let's end the week by taking a look at the sales data from MTGO traders over the past 7 days. And this is a good way to see which cards are the most popular, the best selling in the format right now. Just remember, Rivals of Ixalan hasn't been out for 7 days yet, so those cards aren't on the list at all right now. Now in terms of overall sales, Opt has dropped all the way out of the top 3, out even of the top 5, while Ponder has clawed its way up to the number 4 slot. And this is really interesting, because Ponder isn't legal in Standard, it isn't legal in Modern, it's only legal in Vintage, and Legacy, and Commander, and Pauper. We've already started to see some major Pauper gains online and in Paper Magic over the past couple of weeks, but this tells me that trend is still probably pointing upward. Pauper is gaining popularity at Paper Grand Prix, and I wouldn't be surprised if the index continues to move up over the next couple of months. Now in terms of overall value sold, that top 4 is pretty stable. You've got your Mox Opal, your Liliana of the Veil, your Scalding Tarn, your Force of Will. We've talked about these cards, they've been hot for the past couple of months. Now just below them on the list you have a couple of really interesting ones, Celestial Colonnade and Blood Moon. Now, Celestial Colonnade makes a lot of sense, the supply is really low, it's in those Jeskai control decks that are doing really well, but it's also really likely to be reprinted in Masters 25, so I'm not really interested in buying into that one right now. Blood Moon is a much safer long-term bet. It was just reprinted in Modern Masters 2017, so it's not going to be on the docket again for a little while, and it's actually gained 5 or 6 tickets since mid-October. I think those gains are likely to continue into the new year. And finally, our basic land roundup. We've got Swamp as the runaway winner of the week, Mountain as the runaway loser. In fact, people bought twice as many Swamps as Mountains this week. Why? I don't know. But I'll see you next Monday for another episode of This Week in Magic Online Finance. In the meantime, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. See ya!